Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by Ash Paulson to discuss Nintendo's surprise Micro Direct and the Japanese Direct. So let's get started. So Ash, we actually had a very interesting moment with Nintendo here where they basically popped up a Direct out of nowhere on Sunday and didn't really announce it. It was only for that region, and then Nintendo didn't announce any Direct at all for the US and Europe, and just sort of posted that afterwards on their YouTube channel. It was sort of like a very, like, I don't know, just out of nowhere type of thing where they didn't hype it. They just sort of got it out there, and there it is. And so, I wasn't around yesterday, and you were very kind enough to handle all getting all the Japanese Direct stuff up. So I thought we'd finally get together and talk about all this and just sort of give our impressions about this sort of strange little occurrence. So what did you think about all the games announced?
They're fairly exciting, but it sounds to me like Nintendo just kind of cobbled this together last minute to kind of get some of the less exciting announcements out of the way before E3, because none of the games announced in this Direct are really E3 material, save for maybe Bravely Second. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, these are all, they're not that they're not exciting, but they're not, the kind of, they're not going to make huge waves like the kind of games you would normally announce at E3. So, Nintendo only has so much time during their digital event for, the actual, E3 kickoff. So my guess is they just wanted to get some of these, lighter announcements out of the way and save E3 for the really good stuff.
That's sort of the interpretation I got as well, because none of these games are that huge. Like, it's okay, it's kind of cool, like, we get a new Chibi-Robo, even though fans of that series apparently hate the idea of it being just another 2D platformer. We got the new Mario and Sonic, we got, a little, some lip service to that Project Treasure, and then, of course, Bravely Second, which was, definitely the biggest highlight of that, but, there's not really that much to say other than, yay, we're getting it.
Yeah, exactly.
The Japanese Direct was a little bit more interesting, where it covered most of the same stuff, except they also had some stuff in there for Monster Hunter Cross, Dragon Quest VIII, Fire Emblem If, and Yoshi's Woolly World, which made it feel a little bit more substantive, especially with the Fire Emblem stuff, where they were covering this whole new mode with My Castle. So the Japanese Direct to me was probably a little bit more exciting, but it was also longer.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is that because Fire Emblem If isn't coming here till I think next year, and then Yoshi's Woolly World for some ridiculous reason, I mean, Japan and Europe are getting it this summer. We're not getting it until September or October or something. So that my guess is because those are both so far off, that's why they didn't get any coverage in our own kind of Micro Direct. But I agree, the Japan one definitely felt a little more substantial. And I mean, I guess what more can really be said about Yoshi's Woolly World at this point? Everyone knows about the Amiibo Yoshi designs now, and the game. People pretty much know about it. The first 4 worlds have been covered. So I guess why prepare yet another trailer for just the US Micro Direct? So I get that. Mm-hmm. Fire Emblem, it would have been nice, but again, it's so far off that I guess it doesn't really make a lot of sense right now. And I'm sure we'll get another trailer at E3.
Oh yeah, I'm positive we're going to get a lot more Fire Emblem If information. I mean, it's going to be out in Japan. There has to be. I mean, we got a near final game here. We just don't have it in English, and I'm really excited to see what they have in store for that. And honestly, I really, really hope that Dragon Quest VIII comes to the US, because that is the first Dragon Quest I played. It's a really great game, and I think it would do quite well on the 3DS. Plus, it's a really great open RPG. There's a lot to love there.
Yeah, I mean, Dragon Quest has never been nearly as popular here as it is in Japan, but it's still, somewhat popular. And so I feel like Dragon Quest VIII, like you said, could do well. It's the first game in that series that didn't feel so aggressively retro, mm-hmm. to the point of maybe turning some players off, because I know Dragon Quest 1 through 7 are so intensely old school that they might turn fans of certain JRPGs off, and I get that, but Dragon Quest VIII, from what I recall, was the kind of the first game that took that leap into kind of modern JRPG aesthetics, mm-hmm. and even gameplay in terms of the battles, and I'm not like a hardcore Dragon Quest fan, but that's what I recall people saying about Dragon Quest VIII at the time. So I feel like there's a decent chance it'll come to the U.S. Dragon Quest VII did not, though, right?
No, it didn't, which is also odd because we got those remakes on the DS for 4, 5, and 6. So you would have thought they would continue that tradition and give us 7.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've also heard sort of horror stories about 7 where it's like a long time until the game actually gets going, like 6 or 7 hours.
I've heard that too, yeah. So Dragon Quest VIII might be a better candidate for localization anyway, just because I think it's a little more, easily likable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because that game sort of gets it right into it.
Right. And I've heard some people, or I've seen some reactions online about people being worried that Smash didn't make an appearance in either the Japanese Direct or the Nintendo or the US Micro Direct. They're saying like Lucas might be delayed, and I'm like, no, that's not the case at all. It's June 1st. And yes, Lucas is due this month, but Smash DLC is one of those big things that they're going to save for E3. So don't worry if you're worried. That's totally going to be covered at E3, and I'd be willing to bet that Lucas is still coming this month.
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if after the digital event at E3, hey, Lucas is available.
I wouldn't either. That would be awesome. Yeah. Like I'm kind of hoping that's what they'll do, and I'm pretty sure it is. So. That just might make my actual E3 arrival a little late because I want to use Lucas, but I can't. It'll suck. Because I'll have to get there, and I want to just play a couple of matches. But such is Nintendo.
Yeah, way it goes. So, have you ever played any of the Chibi-Robo games before?
No, I haven't. I downloaded the demo of Photo Finder for the 3DS, and I messed around with that for a bit. But I never really just got into the series. Not for really. I never really tried not to. I just never really got around to it. But ironically, I guess because I'm not an existing fan, I think this new platformer looks really fun. And I'm actually really excited to play it. But I guess because it's not the kind of gameplay that Chibi-Robo is known for, longtime fans are kind of turning their nose up at it. But I think it looks really cool.
They did. I think they're trying to broaden its appeal because, as far as I can tell, you just go around and sort of take on missions in a 3D space and you just got to watch your power level, like how much electricity you have left, which is a neat idea, and I can see how people would do it, but it's not quite as broad as all that. So now, I think they're trying to broaden his appeal by making him into a 2D platformer, and it looks fun enough, but honestly, it looks so standard to me that I didn't really get much excitement out of it. It's like, okay, you're whipping around on a platform, and you can extend your cord and all that stuff, but it was like nothing about it really excited me. It was just sort of like, okay, another platformer. Okay.
No, that's true. It doesn't really stand out in any way. It's just, I've got a weakness for 2D platformers anyway, so I'm looking forward to playing it in that sense. But yeah, it does kind of look like a just like a standard, good platformer, but it doesn't really stand out in any way. And maybe that's okay. I think you're onto something about Nintendo trying to broaden Chibi-Robo's appeal, and maybe they're trying to slowly groom Chibi-Robo into at least a B-tier Nintendo character. Right now I'd say he's not really that because just a lot of people don't even know of him. So it seems like they're maybe trying to at least mold him into a somewhat recognizable Nintendo character. And, honestly, a platformer is a good way to do that.
No, it totally is. And I think that, I'm not sure how it's going to be interpreted. I mean, because it looks so standard, it might not get that appeal that they want, but it's really hard to say. I think it's. I don't know. I don't think it's going to do that great. I think I do think turning off the original fans and sort of stepping away from its gameplay is a bit of a mistake. But I'm not sure. But I'm not positive. I feel like there had to be a better way to integrate the gameplay of the earlier games to this new game, and I'm not seeing it here.
Yeah, do we know yet? Is it a full box release or is it a digital release? Do we know yet?
I think it's a box release because they were talking about how that Chibi-Robo Amiibo is packaged in with it.
Oh, that's right. Of course it is. Yeah. So, I will say that the Chibi-Robo Amiibo is super cool. But yeah, I don't know. I almost feel like that game is destined for sales obscurity. I hope that it isn't, but yeah, like you said, existing fans aren't really warming to the idea of having a 2D platformer, and how broad is Chibi-Robo's appeal currently that people are just going to walk into a store and see this game and go, oh man, Chibi-Robo platformer, I'm going to buy that. Not very much, I just don't see that. Chibi-Robo doesn't have the brand power that Kirby has.
Yeah.
People go buy a Kirby platformer sight unseen because it's Kirby and because that pedigree is there. and Kirby's recognizable. Chibi-Robo, not so much.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see, but I guess some of the other games, the 3 other big games that they had there for this mini direct or micro direct, is a new Dr. Mario, Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon, and Mario and Sonic at the Rio 2016 Olympics. And I love Dr. Mario. This looks like a great interpretation of Dr. Mario and how they've actually changed up his gameplay a bit. But it's still just Dr. Mario. There's not too much to be said about him.
Right.
And Mario, same with the Mario and Sonic. I mean, we're just going to get another minigame fest. Yay, we get some of these other sports. Yeah, we get some. It's cool that we get some of these new characters like Nabbit and the Deadly Six in there, I guess, if you're into that sort of thing. But it's still just, I don't care about the Olympics. I think, honestly, the Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon was probably the one of those 3 that got me the most interested.
I've never really been a fan of the Mystery Dungeon games, except for the fact that they have awesome music. Mm-hmm. So I listen to a lot of the music on YouTube, but I tried to play the original game, and it didn't really grab me. But the series seems to have kind of an ongoing cult following. So, good for those fans. They're getting a new game, and I guess it's not a remake. I think some people suspected it might be a remake based on the name, and I guess it isn't a remake, so that's cool. Dr. Mario, like you said, yeah, it's Dr. Mario. I might grab it. It's been a while since I've played Dr. Mario, and I'm kind of, feeling like the itch for it, so I might actually grab it. It kind of depends on how much it is. I'm not going to pay a full retail price, $30 for Dr. Mario, but if it's like a, downloadable digital price, like 5 to 10, sure, or like 8 to 10, yeah, I'll grab it. And then as far as Mario and Sonic, you know what? This series apparently continues to sell well, and it has that kind of broad mainstream appeal, so good for them. Continue making these games. You and I will continue not to care about them, but, they obviously are doing well enough. So, and I was looking at some of the comments in the Mario and Sonic trailer that I uploaded over the weekend, and there's some of GameXplain fans are like hardcore Mario and Sonic Olympic fans, such that they're like, I noticed this character at this part of the trailer, and I think this guy's in too, and I'm like, man, I get that for Smash and for Mario Kart and stuff like that, but I had no idea that there are people so hardcore into the Mario and Sonic Olympic series that they're like, looking that hard for new characters. But you know what? Hey, people like different things, so go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not going to deny anybody their fun. If you guys love the Olympic Games, and I'll admit I got the first couple. They are simple fun, but I've just sort of, honest admission here, I don't have any friends to play with. Right. None of my friends are interested in playing that, so that's why I just have no interest in getting it myself, because minigame fest by yourself, not exactly the most fun.
Yeah, I mean, same here. I can't get my friends to play really most things other than Smash. I'm trying to warm them up to Splatoon and Mario Kart occasionally, but I really can't get them to play things like Game & Wario or Mario Party 10, so Mario and Sonic is even less relevant in that sense. But the thing that always killed me about those games is that, I mean, really, honestly, at least in terms of like the 100-yard dash or any yard dash, like, you shouldn't be able to play as Mario and ever beat Sonic. Like, that shouldn't even be allowed in the game. Like, how does Mario ever beat Sonic in any running event? Ever.
They gave Sonic his slow shoes from Labyrinth.
That has to be it, right? I mean, just like jumping events, I feel like Sonic shouldn't even be able to compete with Mario, but yeah, I always found that funny.
Yeah, just a bit. I guess the only other game to really mention is Monster Hunter Cross, which there's not a whole lot for us to say because neither of us are that big into Monster Hunter, and looking at it, it doesn't look that different. I'm not sure why it's not Monster Hunter 5, honestly, right, because it looks just like another sequel to it, so I am not sensing any of the differences. I'm sure there are, but there's not immediately apparent to a non-fan.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I got from it, is that as a non-fan looking at the trailer, I was having a lot of trouble figuring out what actually separates Monster Hunter Cross from Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I know that some of the PR stuff is talking about how the Hunters have flashier and more badass attacks than ever, and I mean, that's cool, but there's got to be more than that. I'm sure they're new monsters or whatever, but yeah, I from a layman's point of view, I really don't know how this is any different from Monster Hunter 4.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for what it's worth, the attacks did look a lot flashier, and
sure,
there were some pretty cool moves being done in there. But it's great that it is really great to see that this sort of niche series has taken off in the way that it has. Because I remember when Monster Hunter first came out, and it really didn't do that great, but I think it's slowly built up a following, and I don't know. There's something to appreciate about that.
hopefully it continues to, that continues. But I feel like it will, because I think Monster Hunter really has caught on in the West as of like Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, and then especially going into 4. I think it's done pretty well. So I think Monster Hunter continues to grow. And I think the main mystery for me is, why wasn't Monster Hunter Cross announced for Western release in this micro direct? I mean, maybe it's not confirmed yet, but I think Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate has sold pretty well here. So I feel like it's only a matter of time before Cross is confirmed for the West.
It seems like that. But, well, I don't think we have any desire to talk about that anime game. I don't even remember the name of it, but I didn't even know there was some sort of Nickelodeon anime game. So actually, that only really leaves that the Splatoon announcement, which was that we're getting a new stage and a new weapon in the form of the Zapper, and then ranked battle has finally been unlocked, which, it must be doing really dang well if it was released on Friday and we already have ranked battles. I think Splatoon has really exploded in popularity.
It seems like it. I mean, I played since Splatoon over the weekend, and I never have trouble finding an online battle to join. So I'm really glad that the free updates that Nintendo has talked about are starting so soon, because I mean, Splatoon is great, and I've been enjoying my time with it, but I really can't deny that it feels like an unfinished product. Not in the sense that the gameplay is unfinished. The gameplay is super polished, but in the sense that there's so much content that simply wasn't ready for launch. So, it does feel slightly incomplete in that sense. So I'm happy to know that Nintendo's already starting to release the free updates over the summer that they've promised, and they're getting off to a strong start with a new weapon based on the NES Zapper and a new map. So it'll be good. I think that's 6 total maps now. Although you can only still play, I guess, 2 per day, which
two every 4 hours. It changes
every 4 hours. Yeah. Okay. I don't really see the point of that, but sure. Okay. I mean, hey, it's still nice to have one more map added. So that's pretty great. And as far as rank battles go, I'm not surprised they've been unlocked so fast, just because I'm seeing people who are already level 20, and you only need to be level 10 to unlock rank battles. And I've seen several people who were already level 20 over the weekend. So I think, like you said, the people who are into it are really into it. It seems to have exploded somewhat in popularity. And actually, Nintendo Japan had to issue an apology, an official apology, because people were looking for Splatoon and were not able to buy it because it was sold out, which is great news for Nintendo, especially regarding the Wii U's overall status. I'm just surprised that it's doing that well in Japan. I didn't think Splatoon had that kind of, it's untested, it's a new IP, but people seem to really be going crazy for it, so that's great.
Yeah, I think I heard somewhere it had a 90% sell-through rate in Japan.
God, that's nuts.
Yeah, which is incredible. I haven't even, since I'm just getting back from a con at this point, I haven't even had a chance to pick it up. I'm going to be doing that later today. And, I seriously cannot wait to play it, but got to do work first, so there we go.
Yeah. Well, we might try to stream it tonight. One of us, we're not sure, but maybe we'll get to play together if we are able to do that.
Maybe. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to rank 10 that quickly. We'll see.
No, that's true. Yeah, you can't join until you're level. That's right. I forgot. That's too bad.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But all right, guys, I think that covers it for our direct discussion. So thank you guys for watching. And if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Nintendo and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.